Okay, hi guys. So we're back for episode 2, and in this episode, we are going to continue working on the floor. Uh, so I'm still recording the audio um, after I record the video. Eventually, I will get some software where I can record both at the same time. Just makes it a bit easier on me. Um, all of last night, I was recording footage for new videos, and I have a lot of plans for just what I'm going to work on in this city. Um, so, as you see, I am doing a small pattern with the floor. Just I'll start it at one corner and following that line until it hits a wall, and then just continuing that path until it eventually terminates at a corner or just brings me back to an area that I've already finished. Um, so I've used this pattern of polished diorite, I believe, or maybe it's andesite, and polished blackstone in at least two other two other buildings so far. And that pattern's looking really good. Um, Honestly, it just makes me think of like a giant chess or a checkerboard. And once I get the white put in, it kind of makes a small optical illusion. It makes like, well, on my screen, it shows this like spherical shape and just messes with my eyes a bit. But I like it, and it looks sort of fancy, so I thought it would look good in a mansion. Um, so my plans for this build is add a kitchen and a small game room and a theater on the main level, and then basically right across from the entrance have a small um, enclosed patio just with a domed glass enclosure that the people can sit and have like breakfast or other meals on and just overlook the back area. And then on the second floor, have like a library and a sort of study area, and then like guest bedrooms. And on the third level, have like the master bedroom, and then on the backyard have like a oak leaf or some other kind of leaf maze, and have a pool, and just basically generic rich person mansion kind of backyard. So that is that's my big plans for for this build at least. This episode will most likely just get the floor done, and if we have enough time, work work on the main floor with at least one room. Uh, Most likely starting with the kitchen. Um, so there is a command I can use when I do start decorating to put armor stands that gives them their arms, so I can have like swords and shields on them, like you saw in the previous one for the fountain. Um, because it's like every generic mansion that I imagine has like a bunch of armor stands and just like medieval suits of armor. So, right where the grand balcony kind of ends, there's gonna be a wall, and it will have like a few inlets for the armor stands to be put, and then I'm still kind of trying to decide. Um, Still kind of trying to decide whether or not I want to put a grandfather clock. That's what I'm trying to think of. So I'm still relatively new to recording videos and commentary. Eventually, like I said, I will get software to record the voices. Um, like I was trying to say, get some software to record the voices with the video at the same time. I believe I can do that just without um, paying for any special software. But I'll look into that, because I feel like it's gonna drive me crazy if I have to keep recording the audio separately. Because as I'm building, I can easily talk through what I'm doing and just easily talk about other topics as well. But recording the audio back afterwards without a script is pretty hard. But it'll help with improvising as well. Um, just please ignore like any random notification pop-ups. I'll try to cut them out of the audio, but if it kind of overlaps a bit of the voice, I may have to leave it in. I have my phone on silent, but since I'm using a Mac, it's tied in with messages. So I don't know if there's a way I can turn off notifications for that. I'll look into that for next episode. But you can kind of see that it takes a long time to get the floor done. Yeah. You can only imagine how long it took me to get the main floor done. Especially with all the extra inlets and or outlets and other places it had, like the entryway and the green room and the greenhouse and stuff like that. I'm doing this all in creative, also because it would be it would be fun to do this in survival, but it would be such a pain to to do and to gather all the resources. Um, so I'm gonna now talk about like the beginning of the beginning of the city and how I started it. So I've always had like a drive to to build a city in Minecraft, um, especially in creative mode, mainly because of unlimited access to all the different items and blocks I can use, but also because I can just be as creative as I want and not have restrictions as to how many resources I have and um, just ease of access to commands and stuff. Um, the first city I tried to build was back in 1.6.4, and back then they didn't have the fill command, so I had to build everything by hand. And when it got to large buildings, it was such a pain to do. I remember, well, I lost the world so long ago. Um, one, it was on an old computer, and two, that old computer crashed, and so I just lost a lot of the data I had on it. Um, I've not had good luck when it comes to like PCs surviving. Um, a lot of PCs have crashed and just died. I think three of my PCs have done that, and so now I'm just using Mac. Um, but I remember building like a bus barn, basically a place where all the buses go, um, or like Greyhound buses, stuff like that. Um, it was a huge building, and I made it all out of oak planks with a nice glass roof, and it was virtually empty inside, but it was just so hard to place by hand. Also, I did it on a. Well, I do all my cities on super flat worlds, so I don't have to remove so much terrain or do so much terraforming. But that world was the generic super flat, where it's only like 4 blocks tall. Um, so I didn't really have the ability to put anything in like sewer systems or anything like that. I uh, I also remember having eventually changing the theme from city to a zombie apocalypse kind of city. So everything was decayed and just ruined. And I had a helicopter that had crashed into the side of a building. And I don't believe there was the game rule for turning off fire spread back then. I may be wrong. So I had to be careful which building I did the plane crashes in or the helicopter crashes in, so it wouldn't burn down the entire building. Um, yeah, doing that world. That was the first time I did a city, and I fell in love with doing that. So almost, yeah, I did one in 2012, or not 2012, 1.12, sorry. Um, but that time I changed up the world type and did the super flat as a void, um, which worked semi well. It was kind of interesting, but it didn't go that far. Um, it didn't really do that well and just didn't last. And then 3 years ago, I started again, and well, you can see how well it's doing and how much work I've put in. The most recent backup clocked in at 69 megabytes. So it's not the largest world file out there, but it's the largest I've ever had. So I am quite happy with that. So some of my ideas um, for this city are going to be a prison, police station, mainly because I have two fire stations, and just kind of even out the first responder trio. Um, Most likely, I'll look up a tutorial on how to actually build ambulances. So those two in the hospital don't look so bad, or maybe I'll just keep them and just rebuild or build some more later on. And as you can see, I'm finally on the polished diorite. Um, so the floor is coming along really nicely. I'm about just under halfway here. So I started playing Minecraft back in, when was it? 7th grade. So that would have been around 2015, I think. Like the winter or fall of 2015. I remember playing on like 1.8 a little bit, and then about a month after my parents got me the game, is when 1.9 released, and so I never really got to experience the old combat system. So I've heard people say they don't like the 1.9 combat update onward, how that system was, but I seem to enjoy it. I'm not a very competitive player. I'm more of a laid back kind of player, but from my experience, it's been pretty good. I've tried like PvP servers and like kit PvP and stuff like that, but I'm just not good at it. Bed Wars, I'm more of a get some resources, defend the bed, and then find a place to hide and wait everyone out. One of my favorite tactics when I did used to play Bed Wars was get some materials, and just find a way to the lowest point of the map. Hopefully at like the very middle, and just crouch and wait everyone out. Um, and that would work rarely, but I mean, I had fun doing it. I was a pain to the other players. Um, but eventually they would find me and just they would find me and kill me and then win the game. Um, One of my favorite games I remember playing was back on oh, what was it? Um, Block Hunt. Basically the Minecraft version of Prop Hunt on one of the servers that just recently shut down. Um, but yeah, that I always liked the prop hunt style of games. Um, there's only really one server I play on a regular basis, um, and that's more of a small little anarchy server that that hasn't really seen that much player activity for a few years. There are players who join, but it was really popular maybe 2 years ago. Um, I'm really only saying that because that's when all the guys I became friends with were playing, and now I'm really the only guy who still plays on it. Um, yeah, it was really fun back in like 2020. Um, we had like we had a huge war across the server where I griefed their base, and then they declared a war on me, and we fought and just had so much fun. I remember being really excited to get on and seeing them online because I knew we would have a lot of fun. But now I'm the only one who still plays on it, and they all have moved on, and so I mean I'm doing pretty well on it. I have a small little base and trying to walk to the world border, and just over or just nearing 3 million blocks. So that's quite a distance. Yeah, I'm nearly done with the 4 now. I just have this small little triangle to go. Um, Most likely I'll finish this, and that may be all the time we have for this episode. Um, the next one I will most likely start laying out all the rooms I want to add on the first floor, and start work on the main floor. But yeah, you can see the moon is starting to set and the sun's starting to rise on the other side, and now we are completely done, and it looks so good. Um, yeah, the area behind me will become the kitchen, and I'll find a kind of wall I'd like to put in. But for now, this is the end of episode 2. So I'll see you guys later.